following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. Main Street Media proudly welcomes you live to Chattanooga, site of the 2021 Blue Cross Bowl. This is TriStar Friday Night Live, presented by the U.S. Army and the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. And welcome back into Chattanooga and the side of the Blue Cross Bowl as the D2 3A game has concluded, and it was a McCallie three-peat as they win 28-7. We welcome you in, JP Plant here with you. We've also got on the line with us Russell and Tyler. With Main Street Preps. You may know them from their podcast, Main Street Preps guys. Welcome in, by the way. You've been here all day, part of our Main Street Preps coverage. So, first of all, the glance of what you saw there from McCallie, pretty impressive, Tyler.
Yeah, and Russell, I'm gonna try not to take up all of our thoughts because we've kind of been talking about it for a little while, but pretty strange to see NBA get out muscled out there, and it's like push people around in the area. And this game was obviously closer earlier in the season when these two teams played. But look across the line here, you know, at left guard, E.J. Smith for McCallie, 6'3", 400. Next to him at center, Cooper Rumfelt, 6', 325, and of course that's on the larger end of what their line brings. But this game I felt like was kind of one all over, but up front especially you could see the disparity.
Yeah, and McCallie Russell has been doing this all year long, and once they got out ahead, it was scoreless after one, and it looked like NBA's defense was going to show up, but just too much speed and too much special athletic talent for McCallie tonight.
Yeah, it really was, JP. And not to harp on the offensive line stuff too much, but Tyler, this offensive line, when I saw them, kind of reminded me of, you guys know when there's a high school football movie and they get like 25-year-old people to play the high school kids. That's kind of what it looked like out there with the offensive line. Those are big boys, and yeah, it made life easy for William Riddle at quarterback and Tario Price. There he went over 100 yards at running back too, and receiver that I cannot pronounce his last name. Tyler, I think you gave it a shot on our podcast the other day, right?
Xavier, I'm not going to try again.
Gallardes,
I won't try
big
again.
Big night for him. 5 catches, 117 yards and a touchdown. So yeah, just all around great night for McCallie. And I was kind of worried this would happen, JP. And I said it on at the beginning of the show, or I guess the kickoff show that we did, that I kind of hopped in for. I mean, that result last week against Pope Prep, 47-7 in the semifinals. I know you cannot use the transitive property, but sometimes in high school sports, that's the best thing we have to go off of when all these different teams meet and we don't necessarily know a ton about them. But when I saw that scoreline, I was definitely pretty nervous for NBA, and that came to fruition tonight.
All right, well, let's get into our heating and air, Dairy Berry Heating and Air game recap as we let you know what happened here today as we look at the stats here, guys. Again, 28-7 the final, and you look at the team comparisons. 359 total yards to 215 for McCallie, 187 of those on the ground, and passing tonight, not bad, as Reed was able to scramble around and get some plays, but 133 yards from NBA, 172 for McCallie. What else stands out in the stat sheet for you guys tonight?
Stat-wise, I mean, you look at it, 359 yards total for McCallie. That's not, maybe for NBA, rough, but shoot, I don't, that's, you can still win a game and keep a team healthy. But I would say, when you look at, let's look at Reed's line, for instance, 12 of 23 for 133. That's just probably not going to, I don't know that you're going to score more than 28 points, that sort of a passing attack, unless you have a running back that is just in a line that's going to dominate the game, which just wasn't NBA's situation. So I don't know. I think he probably needed to have one of those wild games like he did 2 weeks ago against Christian Brothers for NBA to win this. But I don't know what Marty Uverard saw. This game was close earlier in the season. He did, and they didn't really throw the ball maybe down the field quite like we saw against Christian Brothers. So I don't know. Maybe just a lot of things need to happen for NBA that didn't. I kind of go back to, the play of the game. If we're going to kind of get into the minutia, NBA had McCallie stopped near midfield, down 14-7, and went after the punt and roughed the punter, and then McCallie went down and scored and made it a 3-touchdown game. I kind of felt like the sails came out of NBA after that.
Yeah, and in NBA, you mentioned, Marcel Reed, he can throw the ball, he can run the ball, but they rely a lot on running back Rhett Hiles as well, and he had 10 rushes for only 18 yards and a touchdown, and a line like that's just not going to get it done for a team like NBA and how they do their game plan. It's going to be heavy run, and when you're not having any success on the ground like that, outside of the Reed scrambling, it's going to be an uphill battle all night, and it was.
Yeah. So, again, it is McCallie 28-7. They get the win, their third straight Division II 3A championship, and they get in front of their home crowd. And before we go to break and come back, there was a lot of blue out there on the home side of the field tonight.
Yeah, a lot of blue, and as there should be.
Yeah.
This is a great place to have the championships. If it's in your hometown, you got to show out. And I don't know anybody in the Nashville area. Russell, maybe you do. Who could possibly travel that well to compete with?
I have not seen it.
Crowd.
Even to Cookville, which is quite an hour closer to Nashville. But yeah, if I had to estimate, I'd say McCallie had somewhere between 3,000 and maybe 4,000 people. They filled up a good portion of this side, which is about 10,000. So
and there were a lot of people in the suites, JP. Stairs, riding the elevator down with us. So they showed out. Good for them.
Yes, they did. So McCallie wins at 28-7. We'll take a break, and we come back here on TriStar Friday Night Live, presented by the U.S. Army and the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. We'll look back at the other two games today on our Wilson Beck and Trust scoreboard and look ahead to tomorrow. We've got 3 more games on Friday. Stay with us here on TriStar Friday Night Live from the Blue Cross Bowl in Chattanooga.
Hey, Toby. Toby knows comfort, whether day or night. Through the highs and the lows, Toby knows. You've put it off long enough. That old system is just out with the old, in with the new. We'll make it worthwhile all the way through. Derryberry is your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. Visit DerryberryAC.com today and schedule a visit. Derryberry Heat and Air, making customers for life.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang up, okay?
What's your name? So where you are right now?
I am Dr. Birdie, the founder, CEO, and president at Home Care Preference. I am a successful African-American female entrepreneur in business through Wilson Bank and Trust. With the partnership that I have, the level of my dreams is the limit of that company's success. When there's strong partnership, everything is possible.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
TriStar Friday Night Live is brought to you in part by the U.S. Army. In the boots of a U.S. Army soldier, you'll move forward in your career and make a real difference in the world. Find the right fit with more than 150 occupational specialties. Learn more at usarmy.com. And the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, reminding you booze it and lose it. The bad decision to drive drunk will land you in jail. And by Wilson Bank and Trust. Visit wilsonbankandtrust.com for more details. Wilson Bank and Trust, proud supporter of high school sports.
And we welcome you back to Chattanooga side of the Blue Cross Bowl 2021 as we are here in Finley Stadium. And the D2 3A game is concluded. All 3 games today are in the books. We've got 3 more tomorrow and 3 more on Saturday. JP Plant, Tyler Palmentier, Russell Venozzi, Main Street Preps here tonight. As McCallie, 28-7 winners tonight over NBA. By the way, the injured player for NBA, Harrison Jackson, report on television, NFHS Network, was that while he wasn't moving going off, he was secured. He was moving his fingers and was conscious, so that was a good sign for him as he was being carted off the field. So kind of a somber end to that game, but a big win for McCallie. So we talked about that game. Let's look back at what happened earlier today and get to the Wilson Bank and Trust scoreboard. As earlier today in our first game, guys, it was a classic rematch of Lipscomb Academy, CPA, teams that you guys have both seen all year. Anything in that game surprise you as 27-0 Lipscomb Academy? Now, I don't know, 60-something to nothing they've beaten CPA in their 2 games this year. So,
Russell, you were kind of on the game coverage on this one. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? Lipscomb Academy did it again, and give CPA credit. They hung in there for about 3 quarters and made it interesting. But Lipscomb pulled away with that run game, and they made the most of turnovers, and really just dominated the game and kept CPA from really doing it what it likes to do and running the ball and holding the ball all game. Lipscomb Academy was able to get enough possession, especially with those turnovers, to make it happen. So, yep. Trent Dilfer in his 3rd year has his first state title, potentially first of many if he sticks around.
That's true. That is obviously a big question, something like that. How long will he stay? But certainly has that program rolling. At the moment in Game 2, another rematch from the regular season, the season finale, actually, where DCA beat Nashville Christian 7-3. A little bit different story today, 31-7, Tyler, as DCA gets the win.
Yeah, I would say maybe the only thing surprising about this one was that this was such a tightly played game in the region finale, if you will. That was a 7-3 win by DCA. Of course, it was cold and rainy, and today with the temperatures being mid-60s, sunny, no wind, it was kind of like as Dayton Sneed told me afterwards, both playbooks were open.
Yeah,
and I think that just happened to benefit DCA. And I don't know. I don't know that I've got any great analysis from this other than you don't really look at this down the score or down the stats and see anything that pops out at you that DCA did that was just overwhelming. But they're just a gritty little football team with about 34 players on their roster, and a bunch of these guys play both ways, and it's just kind of a fun group. Paul Wade loves this group. This is his 4th state championship. I think it's hard to get coaches talk about playing favorites, but he was kind of beating around the bush. But I think this has got to be one of his favorite state titles. I mean, this team didn't win a game 4 years ago in 2018.
Yeah,
Paul Wade was at a kind of a crossroads in his own life personally, and he definitely is going to keep this team close to his heart as he moves forward. And it's kind of interesting. They're going to lose a bunch of seniors this year, so they're going to be back in a situation where they're going to be replaced in depth moving forward. But they've got some good pieces to build around. Ashton Jones, the sophomore tailback, with what do you have here? 28 carries for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's going to be a player. He's going to be one of the best players in D2 single A, I think, for the next couple of years.
All right. And then, of course, the game we talked about tonight, McCallie 28-7 over NBA. Looking ahead to tomorrow, guys, the first game up will be at 11 a.m. Eastern, and it will feature Alcoa and East Nashville. And Alcoa, no surprise, being here, obviously. heavy favorites, but what a story East Nashville is just to get here. But talk about their chances tomorrow against another powerful Alcoa team.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna avoid the subject. They're heavy underdogs.
Yep.
Alcoa has smoked just about everybody, in this game recently, and almost beat Maryville earlier this year, which could very well have been playing for the 6A title later this week. Or that Maryville's that good, as y'all know. So it's a special story. East Nashville's never been to a state finals. Jamal Stewart is a young guy. He's barely out of his mid-30s, if that. Started coaching when he was 19 because of an injury that he sustained in college, and he immediately just goes into the coaching ranks in high school. He's just a football junkie. Amarion Ford, East Nashville's running back, has seen some trauma that nobody has ever wanted to see. His brother was killed in front of him. He had some hardships, and that he's one of their best players. They've got Willie Wilson, who's come back from injury and had a touchdown, at least one touchdown every playoff game. I mean, there's some neat stories surrounding that team. It's a special run. As far as, what this game's going to look like, I don't know. I think if you're East Nashville, that defense is really good. Can it stop Alcoa? I don't know. But, there's always, if you can kind of play keep away, I don't know. I mean, what they need to do is run the ball, run the clock, get some stops, and you just never know. This game stays close. For every minute it stays close, I think the heavy favor gets a little tighter. If you can put maybe Alcoa, make them uncomfortable with the scoreboard, maybe that's your way. But just don't let it get away from you too early with a muffed kick. Or don't back yourself up with penalties. Play your perfect game, but definitely you got to have some things happen, and you got to play well. But I wouldn't expect East Nashville to win, but there's a lot of things that happen in sports I don't expect.
That would just add to the mystique of this incredible story of East Nashville. That's the first game up tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central. Of course, we'll have all of the games covered for you. Main Street Preps, Main Street Nashville. Check them out online. Since it is the end of the day and we're loosely looking at tomorrow, the night game, Page, representing Middle Tennessee. Russell, their story getting there, what stands out to you as they prepare for this tough game against Powell tomorrow night?
Yeah, it's incredible that they're here, JP. I mean, that game against Henry County last week, I know everybody's read and everybody's seen the highlights, but man, that was just a fantastic finish. Jake McNamara showed why he's so highly regarded as a quarterback, and his whole family as football players. He ran around like crazy and basically made that win happen against Henry County, and they're going to need a lot more of that against Powell, because Powell comes in with a quarterback that is regarded almost as highly as him. Walter Nolan, one of the top recruits in the country at defensive line, and that's going to be a really tough matchup for Page, because when you look at their team, they do not have the size of a lot of these, upper echelon 5A and 6A teams. Just they've got some linemen, but they're not nearly as physical as somebody like Nolan, and so that's going to be tough. They're going to somehow have to find a way to just keep him away from killing Jake McNamara. But yeah, I mean, for Page, and Page is one of the 4 first-timers that are here. It's Page, Tullahoma, East Nashville, and Hampton. And so they're all thrilled to be here, and they all have very tough roads. But we'll see. I definitely think of the first-timers, Page may have one of the better chances to be competitive. So we'll see. We'll see how that shakes out.
Okay. So that's tomorrow night, of course, coverage of that game. And as I mentioned, every game here by Main Street Preps. The 3 of us here, you may see in the background as Chris Yow's over there on the other table. Mo's behind him. They're working on a game that just happened. These 2 guys have been working all day on the first 2 games, and we'll repeat this cycle all 3. Russell, how can people find all of this information and stories and all the coverage that we've got here on Main Street?
Yeah, just mainstreetpreps.com. And if you're more of a Twitter person, we're there too, at Main Street Preps. Facebook as well. Just search up Main Street Preps, and you'll find all of the content coming from the Blue Cross Bowl. And it's going to be a steady stream. It's already been a steady stream today. We'll keep it going Saturday, Sunday, and I'm sure there'll be some leftover stuff Sunday and early next week. So
all right, it's a lot of fun. And we are thankful to be here as well. So that's going to wrap up our coverage on day 1 of the Blue Cross Bowl from Chattanooga. For Mo, for Chris, for Russell, and Tyler, I'm JP saying good night from Finley Stadium in Chattanooga. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. We'll preview all 3 games tomorrow, so be sure and join us right here on all these social media outlets. Until then, good night from Chattanooga. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hey, Toby. Toby knows comfort, whether day or night. Through the highs and the lows, Toby knows. You've put it off long enough. That old system is just out with the old, in with the new. We'll make it worthwhile all the way through. Derryberry is your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. Visit DerryberryAC.com today and schedule a visit. Derryberry Heat and Air, making customers for life.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay?
Tell me your name, sir. Where you are right now?
506 now.
I am Dr. Birdie, the founder, CEO, and president at Home Care Preference. I am a successful African-American female entrepreneur in business with Wilson Bank and Trust. With the partnership that I have, the level of my dreams is the limit of that company's success. When there's strong partnership, everything is possible.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
I thought I was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.